bus rolled off of Highway 75 South just over my shoulder here. I'm going to step out of the way. The bus cleared out of here in just about the last 30 minutes. You can see some of the tire tracks there where it left the highway. The mother tells me she left for several hours to pick up her paycheck. The children were left inside this blue home here, which is where the fire broke out. Then the children escaped, traveling across this busy stretch of North Lewis Avenue. Now, shortly after being born, the cicadas usually fall to the ground where they then burrow themselves several inches here beneath the surface. And now after 17 years of waiting, you can hear them coming out in very large numbers. Jasmine Brown and her 3 young children came through that burned up and now also boarded up window around 2 this morning. But once out on the ledge there, they still faced a challenge as they screamed for help. When officers arrived last night, the temperature outside here was 90 degrees. And a Owasso fire calculated inside the car after only 10 minutes. With the doors closed and no air conditioning, the temperature would have been anywhere between 120 and 138 degrees. See, the fence behind me there is bent. We step over here, it's covered in yellow crime scene tape, and once again the fence here is bent. This is where officers tell me Isaiah Tiger ran his 1994 Buick sedan into the fence around 1 this morning, and then the damage continued. There's a lot of florists out here on the road today delivering flowers, and I'm told with Valentine's Day on a Sunday this year, today is the busiest day for those deliveries. It looks even more impressive and a whole lot wetter up close, but this is what 48,000 cubic feet of water per second looks like leaving the Eufaula Dam. And with more rain in the forecast, the Army Corps does not know when Eufaula will return to normal lake levels and they'll be able to close the dam back up. Your Turley Fire and Rescue behind me just finished watering down this large pile of burned tires. We found out this was the reason for a lot of the thick black smoke people saw in this area today. And the reason, the fuel for all the fire out here today is this dry, extremely dry brush. You can maybe hear it if I put it by my mic here. Firefighters said this kept them busy today, and it will for some time. I contacted the city of Tulsa today to see what, if anything, can be done out here on Newton to slow down traffic for people living out here. The city tells me speed humps like these is one possible solution, something Daryl says he would like to see. To help paint the picture for you, this is the massive canvas a construction crew is working with as they build a lake many in Bartlesville are excited to see finally become a reality. Right now I'm along 91st Street here in Broken Arrow, and on this stretch is where several power poles like this one were toppled over. This one snapped in half. For the last several hours, power crews have been out here working on these lines. You can see right now they're getting some of them back up into the air. Coming up at 6, I'll show you how people in a completely different line of work lately have been kept on their toes by these falling gas prices. But until then, live in Tulsa, Joe Henke works for you.
I'd hammer out tornadoes, I'd hammer out hurricanes, I'd hammer earthquakes, forest fires, all over this land. If I had a hammer.
Singing and swinging, a hammer all day.
I'd hammer in the evening.
As soon as the tornado exited Quapaw last night,
I just loaded up the truck and headed this way and got here about 6:30 last night.
Larry Moore made the drive over from Grove, called to help, he says, as a chaplain with Southern Baptist Convention Disaster Relief. And when he reached Quapaw,
my heart just began to break for the people and what they were going through. Some of these folks went through the tornado in Pitcher. I was there after that tornado.
6 years later and 6 miles from Pitcher, the scene looks the same. Larry and his volunteer crew are now doing what they can to help Quapaw and its people heal, one roof at a time.
We're going to start at the south end?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
There's nothing you can say to people like that other than thank you and mean it. So. And they're doing it, I guess, because they want to. They don't like to do it, but they want to do it.
And as Larry's crew finishes working for the day,
doing a good enough job to come back again tomorrow,
it looks like they might just have. In a town that could use a few more helping hands and perhaps a little bit more music.
I'd hammer out hurricanes.
Summertime lawn care to some is a chore, to others it is a tradition.
Runs in the family. Grass.
Now back on American soil, Lawn America's Jake Johnson is working for the family business and enjoying a calmer life.
Especially after my last job, I guess.
2 months removed from his 3rd deployment with the Marines, Jake is keeping green country green, but he is also finally dealing with the loss of 10 men from his unit in Afghanistan.
3 of them are buried up in Virginia at the National Cemetery there. Things don't really stop when that happens, and so you kind of got to put it away and tell yourself you'll deal with it later.
Now, later is finally here. This weekend, Jake and his dad, who owns Lawn America, are heading to Virginia.
It was 3 or 4 months ago that I actually registered for the event and didn't really know that Jake, our oldest son, was going to be back and out of the Marines and working for us at that point in time.
As part of the National Association of Landscape Professionals' yearly tradition, the Johnsons will be 2 of more than 400 volunteers taking care of Arlington National Cemetery, a symbolic gesture to our nation's fallen.
Helpful for me, at least, just to go back and kind of pay my respects to those guys.
While also bringing Jake closure as he returns to his life here in Tulsa.
Say goodbye, I guess. So I've never visited any of the graves yet, so this will be a first time.
The Nowata Firearms gun range now crumpled up on both ends like a tin can. And Taylor Gogi says his day quickly churned from an afternoon at the range into a frantic rush to find safety.
It sounded like a tornado was going off, like the whole building started to shake.
One of the 4 men in the ammunition-packed building noticed flames downrange just before 2 and yelled for everyone to get outside, Taylor says.
Felt like something was compressing my body. And then he opened that door and it's boom, just moved with it.
Still inside the building, Taylor says they couldn't even see the flames as a thick cloud overcame them.
Black soot and smoke just hit you, and I barely made it out.
Now unable to see anything,
I had to feel my way out of the building.
all 4 men made it outside, but then one of them, a 50 to 60-year-old man, turned around.
And then that old man said, I gotta go get my gun, and he ran in there, and that's the last time I seen him.
The flames and the smoke now proved too powerful, as Taylor says he went after the man but could not make it back inside himself. Fire crews say they rescued the man, but he was later pronounced dead. Those who last saw him confused tonight why he went back in.
He'd be alive today, because he was outside whenever it was happening. He just ran back in there.
Taylor, thankful to only be covered in a bit of soot, but more importantly, alive. Reporting in Nowata, Joe Henke, 2 News works for you. Inside 2A Shooting Center, Louis Garospi is practicing to defend himself. But as casings hit the floor, he is worried about the ATF's proposed ban.
It starts with one and then it's keep on going. It's chip away, this is the Constitution.
With an AR-15 at home, Garospi fears if the popular AR-15 5.56mm bullet is reclassified and banned, other AR-15 bullets will be next.
And before you know, all our guns are worthless.
In 2013, President Obama's administration supported attempts to ban assault weapons, which failed. Now, with this proposal to ban a single type of armor-piercing ammo, 2A's general manager agrees with Garospi, saying it is a new attempt to hit the same target.
They know they can't do it all at once, so they have to do it a step at a time.
With the green tip bullets on the left and 3 more powerful rifle bullets 2A sells on the right, Fusen says the reason for the ban doesn't hold up.
If the intent is to protect police officers, this will have no effect.
Since word of the proposed ban spread, AR-15 owners are stocking up, and the ATF is gathering comments on the proposal until March 16th. Then the U.S. Attorney General will decide if bullet sales will stop. In the meantime, Garospi will keep practicing his aim.
It's okay. It's a self-defense. He's gonna make it.
Hey, Tara. How are you doing this morning?
Inside the Tulsa County Jail,
I'm Kathy with Mental Health, and I just want to check on you today.
a small staff takes care of a growing problem. As Kathy Lohr and Patricia Benoit with Armor Correctional Health Services walk through the jail's infirmary, they tell me of the 28 medical cells on any given day, individuals with serious mental illness fill 15 to 20 of them.
Yeah, you're okay here? Okay, as long as you're by yourself. Okay.
It's solitary confinement, bare cells, a toilet, a plastic bed, for inmates who are a danger to themselves or others because of their illness. Once released from jail, many inmates end up here again, often due to self-medicating.
Public intox, whether it's alcohol or drugs, they just keep coming back. You'll see some people with 20, 30 PIs.
Detention Officer Melissa James says in the infirmary, she sees firsthand the need to help those with mental illness. And some experts say many have run out of options for help beyond the jail's walls.
All of them need 15-minute checks instead of 30-minute checks. I mean, so we constantly have to observe them. I mean, and you know, they have outbursts, they have psychotic breakdowns. I mean, it's a constant, never-ending, like 24 hours.
In April, crews broke ground on the jail's new mental health pod. It is a reaction to the increase of inmates with mental illness. The pod could open in 2016 with 10 to 12 suicide watch cells and 98 beds for the mentally ill.
By creating the mental health pods, they're going to have a better sense of community.
Jail staffers say fewer inmates would need help if Oklahoma increased services for substance abuse and identified mental illness earlier.
Then the kids have a lot better chance of parents recognizing it or people working with the family recognizing their problem and getting them stabilized before it just becomes chaos.
Laura and Benoit will be here, though, willing to help as many inmates as needed as they try to control the chaos.
All right, have a good day, okay?
Known as the jail's infirmary holds 15 to 20 mentally ill inmates on average. Inmates with less serious mental illnesses receive help in jail but are mixed in with the general population. For the entire Tulsa jail, the sheriff's office reports on average 40% of inmates have some sort of mental illness. Joe Henke, 2 Works for You.